more bullet points I just want to get to here, because there's a lot. There's just a lot now that we're talking about this that I love. Yeah, and then the one other thing about attraction that I just wanted to share is there will always be moments in any relationship where you don't feel fully attracted to your partner. It's actually normal. It's like the weather. It's not always summer. Everything's not always in bloom. But as a couple, can you ride out the storms and come back together and rebuild that and be able to move through that? That's healthy. That's normal, I think. It's not porn level of attraction 100% of the time with your partners. As you get to know each other, you're just going to get that full bag of marbles. So that's important. Couple other things that we've been talking about recently with some of our guys that I've seen get in the way of men, feeling that clarity and kind of keeping them in the ambivalent is, I'm not sure and I don't want to hurt her. So I'm going to kind of keep one toe in, one toe out, right? There's the fear of, well, I'm not sure. So, should I go all the way in or commit to her? Because then if it's not true, like, am I going to hurt her? And that's a tricky one. But what I've often found is there's already an implication to what you're doing. You are already communicating and hurting your partner in some way if you're not all the way in. We can feel it when a partner's not fully with us. And, presence, which we tend to say kind of goes along with the masculine or the alpha, and radiance, which kind of tends to go with the feminine and omega, those go hand in hand. So if you're not fully present, you don't even know who your woman really is, what type of energy or sexual expression or softness or humor could come through her body. Like, it's not to say it's all on you. We all have our work to do to be responsible, to be able to show up in our presence and radiance. But just, this is a place I've often seen of guys aren't all the way in. And then their partners can feel like, I don't know where we're going. I don't know what's going on. So literally, I mean, my body posture just took the posture of kind of closed and defended versus oh my God, open and relaxed and flowing. And so what I'll often suggest to men is, if you have a doubt, rather than sitting on the sidelines, go all in. Go all in. That doesn't mean you have to get married and get committed, but pick a period of time where you just say, you know what, I'm going to show up to my fullest in this relationship and fully choose to be with this woman and give it my all until, and trust that if I ever get a full body, no, then I'll get out. And of course, she might be hurt. You might be hurt. But the half in, half out thing hurts too, because A, you're both not getting what you want. B, to some extent, you're kind of wasting each other's time. Time you're half in with someone is time they're not fully in with someone else. And this is a pain point, I think, particularly for a lot of women who might want to be mothers, right? There's a feeling of, well, I don't want you to waste 4 years of my life, finding out. And so the solution that scares the crap out of a lot of guys, but I often suggest is go all in. Just put it to the side for a while. Show up, lead, be deep, be authentic, bring everything you've got. Don't hold back. And then see, how does she respond? What comes back? What does it feel like to be together in that place? And you'll know usually within some time. And then leaving or breaking up is such a different energy, because it's not an ambivalence. It's I played full out. I brought everything I had to her, and it still wasn't a fit. It just wasn't a fit. And then we can kind of separate cleanly. And oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes our partners will feel that we really tried to make it work and it didn't work. So let's go our separate ways. And so to not be afraid of, hurting her, I think is, because oftentimes you're already doing it without realizing it, I think is an important thing. So if you feel in that ambivalence, really go in. And the other piece I'll just say is, I think that's tied to the settling piece. We were talking about this on our call last week, and I can't exactly remember how I phrased it, but it was something like, settling is often the feeling of knowing we didn't give it our all. We haven't fully showed up in our lives. And that's when we've settled for someone, so to speak, is I can tell that I don't know, I'm not willing to go all that way. But you're not settling if you go all the way in and bring your full heart and leadership and everything you've got to a woman to see, does this work? Are we compatible? If you are, you're definitely not settling because you brought it all. There's no settling there. And if you don't, then you know you're going to move on to someone else. But it's that, have I given it my all? And oftentimes guys haven't given it their all. And then they wonder why they're not getting the fullness of their partner, or not fully attracted to them, or whatever that might be. But the more you show up in your presence, the more you will feel a woman's radiance. And for some women, it takes a certain amount of security and safety for them to reveal their heart. It's a vulnerable thing. Many women have given men their heart, and they either stomped on it, left, or were just too numbskulled to know what was going on, and they get disappointed. They get hurt. So they kind of come on